Hey y'all, welcome in, welcome in. It's been a while. Happy 2026. Happy 2026, y'all.
I'm a plug who I'm out of lie. You heard me? Hey, what up? Cut up. RP the magic. I ain't tripping around no paper just to beta see the lake.
Right
I'm
here,
swagger down,
y'all.
I'm fresh, I'm turned up. I know you stimulated, know you
Hey.
relationships with now you
Hey.
hey. I wanna tell you thank you. We tell each other everything. No manipulation.
Kevin
Okay, I'm back.
Gates.
I'm in there.
Kevin
Maybe you're
Gates.
feeling my paper. Exotic
What's up, y'all? Welcome in, y'all. How's it going? Happy 2026. Happy 2026. Happy 2026.
I used to dream about being in a studio with my head backwards, with a mouth full of diamonds and shit. You know, when I was in jail, like
haven't done a podcast yet for the new year. Gonna get it in today. I love me some Kevin Gates, y'all.
Breadwinner business, $100 million. Breadwinner business, $100 million. Breadwinner business, $100 million. Breadwinner business, $100 million. $100 million.
$100 million. $100 million. You love us some Kevin Gates, y'all. Okay. So welcome in. Happy 2026 to all of you. It's been definitely a week or so since I have done a podcast. I was out of town for the holiday. You know, it's the holiday season. It's American custom for things to shut down, take a break. And so I did. And so I'm back. I'm excited, ready to do the first episode of 2026. So let's dive on in. Let me get my agenda ready so we can take care of what is first. So, welcome into the Fighting the Good Fight podcast. My name is Tiana. I am always going to be your host. And the intent of this podcast is to speak truth to power. There's always something going on in our corrupt society that is filled with foolishness, anger, and greed, corruption, capitalism, and the core racism, white supremacy. And Fighting the Good Fight podcast is all about just that. And so I'm going to attack this the way that I kind of attack my life, how I look at my life every day, how I react and respond to the sufferings that we all face. And so I'm going to take you through just some things that I do just to keep me grounded. But we're also going to talk real talk. You know, this is real shit. A lot of shit going on. It's 2026 and it ain't going to stop because it's ingrained in our society. Capitalism, colonialism, and white supremacy. It's all ingrained in our society. And so there's always going to be something to talk about. And so let's dive right in. And so the first thing that I want to do is just, you know, we've talked a lot about different topics before the new year came. There was the Epstein files that dropped. There's always something going on with racism in the country, especially of America. So we're always talking about, you know, where did all this mess begin and who's responsible? Because you got people like J.D. Vance talking about white folks don't need to say sorry. Or who the hell's responsible? Because where I come from, since 1492, this has been an issue. And it has not stopped. And it's only manifesting and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And it's showing up in our society in many, many negative ways. And so we've talked a lot of things like that. So if you didn't get a chance to see the first two episodes of the Fighting the Good Fight Politicking podcast, make sure you look back. That information is there. It's just something to think about, right? So let's move on into our next thing, and that is going to be our philosophical thought for the day. So let me pull this up. As many of you know, I am a practitioner of Nichiren Buddhism, and I've been practicing Buddhism since I was 10 years old. And I follow the philosophy of Buddhism, and I chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo each and every day to tap into my fullest potential, my infinite potential, so that I am not bogged down by society's sufferings. And so let us start with some guidance from Buddhism on how to respond to life. Here we go. Mentors and disciples are like runners in a relay race. They are pressing ahead, passing the baton forward on the shared path of justice, happiness, and peace for all humanity. The mentors run ahead to later pass the baton to the disciples. Nothing greater can be achieved without without mentors, and as such, they deserve the highest respect. Disciples put into action what they have learned from the mentor and carry on the work the mentor has left for them to accomplish in the future. Such powerful, powerful guidance. Reminder of the mentor and disciple relationship. Youth, adults, someone that's new to something, a new topic, and someone that's an expert. You should always have someone, as a guide to tell you how to respond to life that's doing it the right way. And so in our philosophy, we truly believe in the mentor and disciple relationship and how important it is for the mentor, for the adult, to raise capable people so that they too can be capable and continue to move forward in this life to make it better for all. So that is our philosophical thought for the day. Yay! Let's get up some music. What's Kevin saying? I don't know this song. Slow it down though for a second, huh? It's going off. All right, good transition. Okay, so let us pull a mindfulness moment card. Let me see. We got to keep ourselves grounded in the present because all that we have is the present moment. And sometimes it's easy to get caught up in your anxiety and your mind masters you and you're not a master of your mind. And so reading things to keep us grounded in the present moment, because that's all that you have control over, helps sometimes. And so let me pull a mindful message card. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. So here's a mindful message card. So again, present, stay grounded in the moment. What can you control? What do you have power over? Sometimes it's easy to forget that because we got so many things we're responsible for in life. When you live in a capitalistic society that's filled with consumerism, it's like the Joneses. We all trying to keep up, right? So this one fell out the decks. Let's see what this one says. Oh, this is when I need my glasses, y'all. I look a lot older. I am a lot older than I look, okay? Infinite creativity. This is what we have control over. Infinite creativity, keeping us grounded in the present moment. At any moment, I am able to tap into an infinite source of energy and creativity within me. Unique ideas flow through, each one capable of blossoming into beautiful creations. So the moment is all you have. And in that moment, you can change your circumstances. Maybe, and by circumstances, it might be just your mind. Maybe your mind is the circumstance that's not making you get out of that funk and you can't get motivated to take action. But you have the power to change, like it says. In a moment, infinite source of energy and creativity within me, tapping into that. You have to find your ways to do that. Getting out in nature helps. Sometimes reading, if you're a spiritual person and you have your own spiritual way, that can help you tap into your own energy. Yoga is a good practice. There's different ways to ground yourself in the present and to remind you of your worth. That's why I went to Miami, y'all. Going to the ocean, it reminds me of how vast our lives are. And staying in a small city sometimes, or not even just the city, but just forgetting what's all out there can make you forget your own potential. So sometimes I like to go to the ocean, even to the lake, and just look out at the water and say, okay, it's bigger than I imagined. I'm okay, still got a lot more potential. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going. So thank you for that mindfulness moment. Yay! Let's keep it moving. Let's see what music we got now.
New Orleans, and I ain't sorry. Real bitches.
Okay, y'all. So let's move on to our next topic, which is our tender reminder. And this is where we really get to dive into the oppression that we are all under. No matter who you are, you're in an oppressed society. You know, some of us are impacted more at a greater level, I should say, than others. But we all under an oppressed society. So we got to talk about these things. So let us do a tender reminder for those that are oppressed, those that are the victim of society. And I'm going to talk about that next. Why we are the victims of society. Because we are the victims of this society. Period. It's nothing something to be embarrassed about, not something to claim. It's truth. It's truth to power. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. I'm going to pull that up last and we're going to discuss that. But for now, let's do our tender reminder, y'all. Let's do our tender reminder. If you are a Black person facing this oppressed society that we live in, racism shows up in 4 different ways. Interpersonally, where you don't like people, outside yourself, it's them, their fault. Intrapersonally, where you don't like your own kind, and if only my people would get it right, maybe we would be able to change the world. Happens institutionally, where institutions are aligned to keep Black people at the bottom. And systemically, same thing. Systems all the way are in place across the board, and they are all aligned, and they are all keeping out Black people. And so, again, since the civil rights, where has equity been? That's what we talked about the last podcast. Where has equity been? Equity still has not been realized since the Civil Rights Act. We are still oppressed. And so how do we navigate that each and every day? So let us have a tender reminder about one of those 4 areas that we face every day. And sometimes these reminders also have cards called dream cards. So I'm actually going to pull 2 because I already pulled a dream card. And I want to make sure I pull an institution or an intrapersonal, actual tough time card so that we get some good advice on what we do when we're faced with these things. Okay, so I got 2 cards, y'all. Here we go. So the first one, we'll start with the institutional. I pulled an institutional reminder because, again, racism shows up in our institutions. And this is the question. What are some loveless institutions we need to abolish? So institutions that show no love on the Black body. What are loveless institutions that we need to abolish? Good question. So, of course, the first institution that I'm thinking of more recently is the hospital. And I'm thinking about these Black women that have gone to have babies at hospitals, and there was no love on their bodies. They were mistreated. They were treated like shit. I mean, one of them probably was pushed out, I think, to the point, hey, welcome in, was pushed out to the point where she didn't even have the child in the institution. So that was no love to me. Somebody's in pain. They about to give birth to another human. And this woman got pushed out. And that happened there was 2 of them back to back from what I recall. So that's an institution that I'm thinking of. And of course, I'm an educator. So of course, I'm going to be always thinking about the education institution. And there is a lot of situations where love is not present for our children in institutions. I have witnessed it with my own eyes. So the question again is, what are some loveless institutions we need to abolish? If the hospitals can't get it right, they got to go. Schools can't get it right, they need to go. Get your love in order first. You can't be hating on people and mistreating human beings, not letting them see their fullest potential. So this is what our tender reminder says. Any institution that actively works against loving you, that wants you to feel less respected, less whole, less free, needs to be dismantled, period. I mean, any institution. If you can't come and be your fullest self, it needs to go. We have been oppressed since 1492, Black people. It needs to go. And it's really longer than that. But I'm talking about America. They need to go. Any institution that's actively working against loving you, which means they are making you feel less respected, less whole, and less free, needs to be dismantled. So that's everything to me in America. All 7 hospitals, schools, the legal system, politics. What else we got? Well, sleepy effect. Socially, we ain't accepted. Legally, it's a damn shame. We ain't represented legally. Educationally, it's a damn shame if you Black. Ethnically, we definitely have always had our culture stripped from us. Politically and economically, all the institutions need to be dismantled because people aren't respected. They're not cared for, and they're made to feel less than. So that's our tender reminder on that one. So here's our dream card. This is where we go to realizing that there is still a future, that things are infinite, like that ocean I was talking about earlier. We're not going to give up hope. So here's the dream. What would it look like for me to love in anti-oppressive ways? And I feel like I did this one before. Yeah, I did that one before. I'm not going to do that one again. You got to go back and look for that one. I think that was my last episode. Let me find me another dream card, y'all. I know I got one. Let me get me another dream because we're going to end with hope. We're going to end with some hope. Okay, here we go. But I just know I did that one already, and I want to give us something new to dream about. All right, so here's the dream, because we're not going to end with hopelessness, because we know that there's institutions that don't have love on our bodies, so we're going to know that we're going to keep fighting the good fight. How can we reconcile past harms to create a better future? Here's the dream. The past will always seep into the present until it is reconciled. And that is what we're seeing every day, you guys, when it comes to capitalism, colonialism, and especially racism. It seeps into the present moment until it is reconciled. People are reckoning their past causes because they have not reconciled. J.D. Vance tried to say nobody had to say sorry. Reconcile what you've done. What are you talking about? Y'all do need to say sorry. You are the descendants of people that made horrible decisions. Reconcile those causes that were made. Until that happens, you will keep reckoning with your past. So, how can we reconcile past harms to create a better future? Number one, the past will always seep into the present until it is reconciled. We cannot experience harmony until we address harm. So who's going to be the courageous one, y'all? Who's going to be courageous? Who will be the courageous people on these lands, especially in America, because everybody's waiting on us? Who's going to be the courageous one to do what this card is suggesting, which is we cannot experience harmony unless we address harm? Who's going to be the one to address it? Who's going to have the courage to say that the decisions that were made starting in 1492, really beyond that, but here in America, we're going to say 1492, who's going to be courageous and address the harm that was done so we can reconcile and have harmony on our lands? I'm still waiting for that, y'all. Ooh, yeah. I'm ready. I'm a consultant. Y'all need help? I'm ready. Y'all ready? I'm ready. Because we the true victims. This shit didn't get reconciled. We the true victims here. And I'm going to tell you why we're the victims. Just in case you think I'm crazy, y'all always think somebody crazy. It's easy to call somebody crazy instead of holding it accountable and reconciling with your past. So I came across this awesome post about we are a victim. And I'm going to read the post just as it is because it's beautiful. It's already beautifully written. I don't need to redo anything. It's already well said. So here we go. And this is how we're going to end with our daily politicking topic because I do believe that I will always have hope that there is a greater day if we just reconcile with our past and stay in the present moment and stay in control of what we can. But until that moment happens, we are a victim. So here we go. This is by Larry D. Singer. Don't know who this man is, but this is what he wrote. We need to stop defending ourselves against the playing the victim lie. We need to stop letting people, including our own, shame us with the phrase playing the victim. That phrase isn't truth, it's a strategy. Let's be honest, we are victims. We were victims, and in many ways, we still are. If a man is enslaved, abused, denied education, denied wealth, denied protection, then freed but still abused by laws, systems, stereotypes, and violence, he is still a victim. Freedom without protection, fairness, or repair does not erase victimization. Let's use the actual definition. A victim is a person harmed, injured, or oppressed as a result of actions, systems, or conditions imposed by others. Now ask yourself honestly, were Black people harmed by slavery? Were we harmed by Jim Crow, by redlining, by mass incarceration, by discrimination in jobs, housing, education, and policy? Are we today still being unjustly treated, killed by cops, oppressed by the system? If the answer is yes, then the label fits. Acknowledging victimization is not weakness, it's accuracy. Why they hate the word victim, because once you admit someone is a victim, you also have to admit the harm. Harm was done. Responsibility exists. Repair is owed. This man is powerful. So instead of addressing the harm, they attack the language. Calling us victims makes them uncomfortable. Calling us complainers makes it easier to ignore us. That's why they say, stop playing the victim, move on. Everyone has problems. Race has nothing to do with it. Those phrases are not solutions, they are conversation control. Even worse, when our own people repeat it, when Black people repeat, stop playing the victim, they think they're being strong, but they're really helping silence the truth. You can acknowledge victimization and still be resilient. You can be a victim and still be powerful. You can be harmed and still rise. Those things are not opposites. The truth nobody wants to say. Yes, we are still victims in certain ways. And if people truly want us to stop acting like victims, then the answer is simple. Stop victimizing us. Stop the discrimination. Stop the unequal treatment. Stop the policies that hurt us. Stop pretending the harm is imaginary. Until then, telling us to be quiet about it isn't strength, it's denial. Naming the harm is not the problem, ignoring it is. Truth isn't victimhood. Truth is accountability, and truth makes people uncomfortable for a reason. Larry D. Roberts. Powerful. Powerful. So he has Larry Singer here, but it must be Larry D. Roberts too. And yes, we are a victim. That is powerful. Powerful, my friends. Powerful. So that is politicking for today. Politicking podcast. Politicking podcast. Always bringing truth to power since 1492. Hope you guys learned something today. Always drop your comments in the chat, like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I'm not sure when I'll be dropping another one, but I hope to catch you on the next one. See you soon.